Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to BestWeb.24 feedback session. To start with, what innovations and additions have been introduced this year, and how has been response been by Professor Gihan Dias, Domain Registrar, CEO of LK Domain Registry. Over to you, sir.
Microphone, yes. So I don't need this. Very good. Yes. Right. Okay. Right. Thank you, Jacinta. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here, both the people here physically as well as we have a fair number of participants on Zoom and Facebook also. So what, as you know, we have started this competition in 2009, and so now it's 14 years we are running it. So we have, of course, been making some changes every year, but this year we decided to make a few changes, and we are going to consolidate them next year also for 2025. So we expect, I mean, again, it's based on your feedback. If you say you don't like this feature, that feature, we did get a feedback on a Google form. I don't know, are we going to show that the pie charts? So, no, not right. But anyway, we got quite good feedback, and there were several comments online, which we will look at also, plus whatever other things that you would like to ask us. So the major change we made was, first of all, we integrated our BestWeb.LK award scheme with BestWeb. And so what we did last year, this year, 2024, is that we asked everybody to apply for TopWeb, and then based on their success at that, we allowed them to, or we asked them to continue to BestWeb. This year we will start immediately from this month. And so if you, at any time, so if you or your customers or whoever would like to take part in BestWeb next year, they should apply for TopWeb now. And then that will mean that they have got the basic qualifications needed to join BestWeb next year. Then we introduced quite a bit of new categories, and also we, since the TopWeb the certification is actually equivalent to a BestWeb Merit Award, we did not give special merit awards this time. We only gave the gold, silver, and bronze, of course, in more categories. So overall number of awards was around the same. So of course, that did give people a chance to get more golds and silvers and bronzes. And also this time, the way we announced the award was, earlier we actually announced the awards immediately after the final judging. This time we just announced only the nominees, and the final actual award was only announced then and there. So a bit of suspense, which is also interesting. So those are probably the major changes we made this time. Plus, of course, we did introduce a small application fee, which of course really a very small percentage of the overall cost of running this event. So those are the major changes. What I'd like you to tell, which of those you feel are good, which of those you feel are not good, or where you feel that it's not much of a difference either way, or whatever. And how, of course, we can improve further. So obviously, this feedback session is focused on the 2025 BestWeb, because obviously this year's one is finished and done, and awards are given, and that's it. But how we can, so we as LK Domain Registry and the judge panel, several of whom are here, can improve on what we did this year and what you as participants can do to improve your performance. By the way, there was one or two comments made here and there saying that sponsors and uh, companies who were represented in the judging panel had also got awards. This has always been the case because one is sponsors are completely different and judging panel is completely different. In fact, the judging panel really doesn't even know who the sponsors are unless they go and look it up. And we also make quite sure that all the people in the judging panel are not in the category that their company is in. So always they are given different category. And if by some chance something gets into the final stage and one of the judges is there, he always is asked to leave the room. So I just wanted to clarify that in fact, I know that some of the judges, their companies did win this time, but I think they were just as surprised as others to know that their companies had won. So we do not, or we make sure that, and if you look at the people who won, they have actually come several times before, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And sometimes they may have won something earlier also. So it's not just, okay, this guy, he just came in and won a prize because they were in the judging panel or something, right? I just want to clarify that. We take a lot of effort to make sure everything is fair. Then a couple of people had also asked about votes. So this category, who had got the highest votes, we did not give any numbers. There's one reason is that there's often a huge difference between categories. Some categories have large numbers of votes, some categories have less. So it's not, very comparable. And also then a lot of, people can start complaining, I got this amount, that amount and whatever. So we have historically not said, okay, how many votes each place got, but only who got the highest. And also occasionally we might find that some people, although they got votes, they are not eligible because of some other reason. So they are not eligible, but of course they may have got some number of votes, so they didn't get considered for the final judging. So those are the main things I want to say in the introduction, and but then we'll go on to the other sessions then. Any questions or comments regarding the introduction? Yes, go ahead. Yeah, I
thought like the same like next year. We are eligible for the both state. Around us, we have our own clients who knows our website and who exactly more for the website. So they are normally normally that was like they ask like what happened for the company, what happened to the competition and all. Most people who know the website are I don't know in the future you all have some kind of a basically what out of the final 3 you all have some kind of data or some kind of a acknowledgement you all reach stage, but unfortunately the final 3 the nominees are this kind of a so at least you are getting a kind of acknowledgement via like the head or something.
Right.
So I think that will be like, yeah, around that particular website who are competing for that voting state. Actually, they are a huge customer, you know, that they are. So, so I hope you all can.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you. This sun is not really working. Yeah. So let me read the question. So it's not about, even this one is not really coming very well. It's not really about the voting. What you are saying is you got into the category, but you didn't get a gold, silver, bronze. Then we can give you a letter saying that you have been nominated or you are in the competition, but you didn't get into that. So we have not done that, but in principle, I suppose we could. So we will put that just in thought, somebody write it down, and we will consider it. Certainly, we could do that. However, I also want to mention another thing. As I mentioned earlier, so we have two competitions, TopWeb.LK and BestWeb.LK. So I would encourage you, if you couldn't get a gold, silver, or bronze in BestWeb, certainly apply for TopWeb.LK and
subscription content in our website. For getting to any technical change, but we had some additional value. So, do you consider this?
okay. I will maybe park that question for a while till the judges, and I think Ruan might address it in his talk also, rather than my trying to address it. I just want to mention one thing. If you do have subscription content, inform us. Okay, this part is a subscription. Give us a demo subscription with a username and a password, so that the judges can also check that content, because I doubt that they will pay money to subscribe to your site just to look at it. So if you do have subscription content or anything where people need a password, please do give us a demo account and inform us of the username and the password, which we can share with the judges. You can disable it after the judging period, but at least during that period, make it available to the judges. So the short answer to your question is yes, we do consider, but I will let the judges answer it in detail. Okay, I think that seems to be.
Yes, sir. Next issue. What are the key cybersecurity insights and challenges highlighted this year? We call Mr. Sampath Naika, Manager IT, Registry.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sampath Nayak from .LK. So I'm heading the technical matters in BestWeb 2024. In this session, I'm going to discuss about give you all a brief idea of our internal process, as well as what are the things you need to focus to avoid as a winner website. And also we will discuss about some security improvements. What are the security improvements need for your website? And also all of you have some issue. What are the reasons for the disqualified? We will not give you a detailed report for you, but there are some common reasons for disqualify from the competition. And also, what are the best practices we can follow for the best step and continue your website for the award-winning site. So let's see how we process this as a first thing. I will give you a brief introduction of our evaluation process. Our evaluation process has 3 phases. Internally, first phase, actually we evaluate your site internally. Internal team evaluate some technical things, and those marks and your website after enrolling into the BestWeb 2024, you are taking your website to second phase. Second phase actually evaluate by panel of judging panel. So the normally judging panel including 3 or more professional in the industry. So they are very professional in this area. So they evaluate in certain rest of the things and very closely, because it is very hard to get a decision, hard to propose some sites for the next level. So they will take a lot of time to evaluate this evaluation process, and those proposed sites, they are taken to the final stage. That means only proposal is going to the final table. Final table actually, final judging evaluation table headed by our chairman and CEO, Professor Gihandas, and all the head of panels. So the each and every categories panels propose winners. They will take into the final table and rediscussing the is there any things need to change their awards, or is there any things not evaluate during this panel. So those things we'll discuss very deeply, and finally we all the judges and panel heads agree with the particular awards. This is a very clear process. I think we believe this it is very clear, and if you have any doubt of the panel evaluation process, I think this is really clear. And on the final table, I know that many judges are making noises and about their some evaluation, but finally all agreed list we are taken to the award ceremony. This is how our evaluation process. I very brief thing just to get the idea. So technical highlights, actually we every year we are getting them more and more sites. This year also we got over 500 websites for this competition. Out of 500 qualified, 448 sites are qualified. And we identified vulnerability, identified site 53. Out of 53, 18 are disqualified due to security issues. But compared to the last year, I will share the more details in my next slide. So it is very low, because this time one thing the new websites are encouraged to go through the top web. So initial evaluation process are screening your issues, and you have a good opportunity to prepare for the final exam, right? So you're already prepared for. So that's why I think this time very low figures are showing for the disqualified, security fail websites. It has come down to 80. So it's good thing. And also, number of participants are also not that much low, but it is compared to similar compared to the other years. This actually, I just want to tell you these what are the things you need to focus for improve your site, and you have to take this site to award-winning site. So there are a lot of things you have to do your site, right? So I think judges explain more and more detail in these areas. First of the completeness, standards, navigation, performance, I think will detail discussed by our judges. So I just want to tell you that you have to focus this area, especially these standards need to follow completeness. Some broken pages are there, some uncompleted site are there. Before closing the best step competition application, you have to complete all these things. So some people they are starting to do some changes after the completing after closing the web competition, closing the application. So if that happens, so that we are not possible to evaluate your website because it is already we are taken to several stage your website to evaluate. Good thing you follow all the criteria and everything in our website. Follow it and do your website before closing date and complete it to meet necessary standard. I just share the QR code. You can directly go over the judging criteria if you need. Right. So this is the security highlights. The many applicants are having problem with the security. So every year we are trying to improve their websites. We are providing the report in the commercial tool we are using for the scanning the website, identify the vulnerabilities and sharing the necessary information to our participants, and ask them to fix it because it is not include everything in your vulnerabilities in your website. Because we do basic scan only for the first 5-6 pages, we are scanning and check the basics thing. Basic things means actually it is very easy to identify any hacker, and if they can identify this vulnerability, they will execute, and it is very harmful for you. So then the basic things need to you actually at least you have to consider to fix the basic things. So if you need deep security scan, that you have to consult some tech cert or some other organization for your security. So that will be another project. Then many of vulnerabilities are remote code execution, SQL injection, DDoS vulnerability. Especially, we notice some sites are compromised, and after that they have planned something for DDoS attack. You will be your site will be using them for someone site DDoS attacks, and also this vulnerability other side. Some are trying to execute vulnerable DDoS for your system as well, right? If you properly the hackers execute this one, your site may not available. Time to time, it is not disappearing from the hosting provider. So you'll have to get very careful about this vulnerability. And also, we notice some other things. You start to do some security configuration in your CMS, something PM Sense or some plugins are try to install and try to secure your website. But few users they are not properly configuring these modules, and they just configure and leave it as it is. They are not updating and they are not properly configuration. In that case also, you will get some security attacks. So if you are doing some changes, do it completely and test it. Otherwise, you can disable those plugins and all if you don't need. But you will be very careful about the plugins because many sites they install many plugins, say about more than 100, right? Only using 5 or 6 plugins for their purpose. Rest of the things they are just leave it. Those be not updated. The very the within a day, I think if any plugin is not updated and exposing a vulnerability, within few days anybody can attack your site. So please disable unwanted plugins and any misconfigurations. If you're not properly implemented, do it and secure your website. Reason for the disqualified website, there are many reasons. Only I have taken the main reasons. They are not taken to the minimum criteria, right? So some sites are not completed, not properly share the information, and just without uncompleted sites are sharing with us to our panels. So other thing is, as I mentioned, 18 sites are security failed because of their security weakness. This also can be happen. And the third one is actually some sites are redirected to .com and they are only keeping the main page .lk as a .lk. All the sub pages are redirected to some other sites. If so, then you are not qualifying. You are not passing for the phase 2 actually. It is initial evaluation. We are holding your request and we are not passing to the second phase. So it is all the sites compulsory should have all the pages should be directed to the .lk sites. So it is very important. You have to check it. There is a lot of technology you can use the both side to it properly check and enroll for the competition. And also not comply with the term and condition. Especially we are noticed that there are very good sites. They are not publishing our top webboard best logos. In that case, it is not adhering to our technical term and condition. You are disqualified in the second phase because it's not going up to until final stage. Even you are in the final stage, you should be maintain your logos and term and condition until complete our award winning ceremony. Otherwise, you are not recognized as the award winner. So it is very important you are getting the valuable logo because if you enroll for the best of competition, definitely now we are several years we are conducting this competition. The many people know that if best logo is there, your site is evaluating someone else. There's a benchmark. So then that is valuable thing. Why don't you use these things? Better use this our term and condition and publish our logos. Yes.
The public the public voting time period.
Yes.
Your main cause to remove the logo.
Yes.
It's like I think the voting was over.
Yes.
That is like want the client to keep the logo even after the voting.
Yeah. Yes. Your logo is changed. We are sending the small link with the small code. you have one option whether you can enable the normal static logo in your website. Other option, you can use that code for your website. If you use the code, when changing the when you start the voting period, it will automatically change in logo to voting logo with the V logo. So after completing the voting, it will automatically change to normal logo. If you not use that particular software code, your static one, you can change it for time to time. So, but finally, BestWeb logo should be there until end of the competition.
So competition is until the final judging date we have mentioned. So it should be there until that date. Just because the voting finishes, the competition is over. So if it is not there on the day of final judging, we will say, well, it's not eligible. So we will disqualify them.
So like in the guidelines area, I think something that kind of just was not mentioned, like the organization only keep the voting till the voting closes.
Till the end of the competition, not the voting. Voting is only one small part of the competition. We never mentioned the voting closes till the end of the competition. End of the competition is after the voting. And voting is a part of the competition. But that's also the judging that is going. So, yeah, if you remove it after the for this one. So it clearly says
So I think our website is clear. We have mentioned that technical terms and condition. It is compulsory. Your logo should be there until end of the competition. And best practices, actually, I am not going to detail on these things. I think judges will discuss the performance standards and navigation. Especially, I just want to mention that security. So you will get a free report to fix your vulnerabilities and security issues. You all have a chance to fix those things. Even though you are not winning this site in the best step, you will improve your site because you are strengthening your security. And also you can use some web application firewall and security models for CMS, PFSense, and there are many. So you can use those things to secure your website. So those security, any enhancement if you did your website, we also not able to find some vulnerabilities initial stage. Right. So I totally recommend it. You are encouraging to enroll the top web. You in the year every month we have in the competition. You can enroll for the many occasion and improve your website before come into the final best of awarding best of competition. So you'll have a good chance now without waiting 1 year. You all can try out your website, send it to top web and evaluating. And regular software updates, especially CMS update and server updates should be updated. Otherwise, you will no chance to in online presence because your site can be compromised. These are the things actually you have to consider about the competition. I think detail of our panels, judges, they will explain more and more detail. Any questions I can answer?
Somewhat you can also mention about the post that can be there in your website. This means that
Right.
at this post and from your own also.
So we are preparing the security secure web developing course. Actually, it is targeted for the developers, and we mostly consider about the improving the skill of our web developers. They are normally many developers having a lot of knowledge of the designing part. Actually, we believe that many developers they are doing nice websites, right? They will fine tune as much as possible and very nice, very professional and providing good performance. But many things, many people, many developers are actually missing part is security, because nobody is going to talk these things, especially in the web step. We very closely monitor our security. So we are developing the course. Actually, this will be published mid November. So this did by security professional. This course cover actually many things of the security, managing your web servers and website and CMS and general things also. We'll discuss it. It is a good thing you can enroll and participate for the course. That's it about security highlights and technical highlights. Any questions I can answer? Or
Thank you, Mr. Sampath. Now we'll move on to what factors leads to score deductions from the judge's perspective. So, Mr. Ruan Amarasekara, past chairman BCS, the Chartered Institute for ITSL and treasurer of APICTA, will talk about it now.
okay.
Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Jacinta. Before I start, okay. Now, I know there will be participants here as well as some of the web developers. Why did you participate in BestWeb.LK competition? Okay. What was the reason? You can just tell me. Okay. Is that all?
Let's say we go through the security sectors. There are vulnerabilities or we'll get to know about this.
Yes.
Usually, you're instructors, so these are the vulnerabilities we have to fix. So that's kind of an advantage that we can.
Okay. That's one of the best things that I have heard from participants. I hope you are a participant. Yeah. So, like when we ask this question in most of the years, some people are coming there only to get the awards. But Best Web has a lot more to do than getting the award itself. Some of the web development companies who have been participating here would know and would tell why what they have gained out of this competition. Best Web fills a gap in Sri Lanka, and that is to give good value to the developers as well as the website owners, basically the organizations who have the like their own websites. So that is where the real value comes into play, and probably that may be the reason why Top Web competition was also launched last year. Yeah, it was last year, because they wanted to do continuous evaluation, continuous improvement to what we have in Sri Lanka. So we need to, so one of the best answers, best things that I heard. Okay, let's go back to the business that I am supposed to be doing. Now, give me a moment till I get the cool. Right. So if you go to the website of BestWeb.LK website and go to the criteria, you will know what the judges are looking at. Very clearly, judges are evaluating based on these criteria. And that is not a hidden thing. It is informed, it is there all the time, every day, 365 days a year. So anybody, the web development companies as well as the owners, website owners I'll put it in that way, can go to this, see for themselves whether their website complies with these criteria. And that is exactly what we should be doing. Because it's a continuous improvement, continuous value addition to you and your organization. So we need to do that as web developers or owners. When you hope some of you would be doing it. And before I forget, the competition starts on the announcement date and it generally finishes on the award ceremony. Right? So the competition is a full cycle of multiple activities. Preferably, if you are supposed to comply with terms and conditions, you need to comply with those terms and conditions until the awards night is over, awards day is over. So that is my understanding about similar competitions, what we do in Sri Lanka and overseas. So, okay. If you don't comply with the general criteria, judges will score lower marks. That's standard. So I will not go into like completeness of page, content, the aesthetic value of the design, what you have created, the ergonomics, speeds, and things like that. Everything will count in. I don't need to repeat them. You can just go to the website and see it. Specifically, if you in this competition, we have other than the criteria, we have penalty points scheme also. So penalty points are strictly given for copyright violations. So that is one of the main things that judges would be looking at when they are doing the evaluations. They will see whether there is any kind of observable copyright violation by the judges, and probably they might even use, if they can use tools, they will use tools. Otherwise, they will judge it manually. So copyright violations are definite reduction of marks to you if you have done it. Especially using somebody else's photograph or using not giving due credit to the source is also one of those things that you need to remember. And if you buy somebody else's content and publish it, it's your thing. But then the due credit needs to go to the right source, and you need to mention that. And copyright violation is a main thing that judges will look at. And if you take the contents, sometimes okay, we can't say whether it is the developer's responsibility or the owner's responsibility. Generally, both parties have to make sure that they take care of, they give real value to what they publish, right? So outdated or something not relevant content will definitely get lesser marks when the judges are doing this evaluation during their evaluation sessions. So you need to give real consideration towards the content and usage of outdated technology. That also can give you lesser marks, but generally, okay, you need to take the appropriate technology. Judges don't say that you need to use the latest and the most like yesterday's or today's technology, but look at the purpose of the website. Why have you created the website? And does this technology, or is this technology appropriate for the purpose that you have built the website? Is what the judges would be looking at. So, because websites, whole evaluation revolves around the purpose of creating the website. People shouldn't create websites for the sake of creating websites. They should know why they are creating websites. That's where the real value comes in to the owner as well as the developer. So based on the purpose, appropriate technology, appropriate content, appropriate behavior of the website needs to be available when the judges are looking at it. And okay, when we talk about penalty points or reductions, there are certain things that give additional marks when the judges look at it. So if the judges see the same website over and over again, last year as well as this year, so probably the value. Okay, look at the judges. Think about your customers, your target audience of the website. If your target audience is seeing the same thing over and over again, the value disappears. Whether we like it or not, it's the human behavior. So we need to address it. We need to address their human behavior. So if you are keeping the website static for continuous period of time, last year, this year, next year, so the chances of you winning this year or next year would be lower, because judges will be checking the last year's website to see what was there before. So that is something that you need to remember. Continuous improvement must be there, and especially people who have won awards, they must improve from what they have done before. If you have won an award, that means you are recognized by the judges of BestWeb.LK. Those judges give you marks because you have done something good according to the criteria. If you keep the same thing this year, so what is the use, right? So that will be looked at by judges. Yeah, you can ask the question. Yeah.
Actually, it's cost factor.
This.
Actually, they are news sites. Already we are publishing around 100 news sites.
Yeah.
one point, sir, there are user come to use. They need to get used to our site. So they know where the stuff there.
Yes.
So keep on changing it. Sometimes they need to search and find it. And the second is the concept.
Yes.
So to do updates every year, we need to pay for the.
Yes.
You know, that there are any new customer, if they are doing any new implementation, they have the higher probability of winning the world compared to this. So, the common plan, you can see the difference.
Yeah.
But BD, we are unable to do the difference every year.
Okay.
Because cost level.
Yes. No, that is true. So this is there is a trade-off between cost, the need, and how often you upgrade your site. That is where the purpose comes into play. Website should have a purpose. If it is a news related thing, is it really the website design and the structure and the technology suits the purpose? That is what the judges are looking at. Continuous improvement is, yes, it's there, but again, subject to the purpose. That's why I started saying everything starts with the purpose. Right? So if the purpose is not there, then every day you need to upgrade. But upgrade also need to be done with a purpose. And that doesn't mean, when you say upgrade, that doesn't mean that you need to completely overhaul your product. There may be certain things that you can do with minimal effort and minimal expenditure. So that is something that you need to give a, like, consider all facts and do it. But then whatever you do it for a purpose, and it needs to address the needs of your target audience and the purpose that you have with the website. So I hope it is clear. When judges are looking at it, judges are not blindly looking at the nice pictures, nice, fast, like you like scrolling up and down and things like that. No, I mean, judges give credit to many more things and then do it. And organizers take extra care when they select the judges. They take experienced people and knowledgeable people to do this activity. So definitely they will do. What I have seen is that they are doing a considerably excellent job when doing it. And this, when we say judging, it is not just on the judging day. The judging is like, even the judges, sometimes what they do is they sit, they go home, do reviews, they discuss multiple days, and then finally they give the recommendation to the final, the third level, for the head judges to deliberate, and then the head judges are supposed to justify why they are recommending ABC products instead of PQR products or websites to have the awards. So they need to justify to other head judges why they are recommending it. And then finally, there will be a lot of discussions, and then the final decisions are made. Sometimes very simple mistakes that the people do can cost them the gold award, silver award, sometimes the bronze award. I have seen this year as well as in the previous years, some people have lost the gold award just because the third level of the pages were incomplete, or fourth level of the pages were incomplete. So completeness is also one of the criteria. Kindly go into the website, refer the BestWeb.LK website, go to the criteria. You be the judge of your own product. Put yourself in the shoes of your customer, target audience, and see whether your customer would like your website. Then you will be doing better when you come to BestWeb. So that's the request and thing that I can tell here, because when we are in the company, we know everything about us, but the target audience looks at you through your website or your interfaces. This is one of the key interfaces between you and your customer base or target audience. So put yourself into their shoes and see how they will evaluate you. And the tool is available in the website itself, because BestWeb.LK organizers have clearly given you, it's not a hidden thing. They have given you 365 days beforehand what they are looking at when you compete in this competition. So it's nothing hidden. You do it for yourself, or get somebody, a third party, someone who doesn't understand anything about your organization, to evaluate your product or website through using this criteria. You will get to know million things about what they think. Right? So that's the last thing. If there are any questions, can take up those. Ready to answer if I know them, if I can answer them, of course. Are there any questions? Anything? You can tell anything. Improvements, yes, definitely the organizers will take note of it. Any criticism that you have, please tell us. That will be taken into consideration. So actually, it was like TopWeb was created from the suggestions that were given previously. People wanted continuous evaluations. So anything you would like to tell here now, or even later you can tell that. Okay. I think, Jacinta, that would be okay. Over to you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Our next question is, what key access should applicant focus on when applying for BestWeb.LK, and how can a website effectively present a business as its digital front? Mr. Kugunathan, over to you. Mr. Kugunathan is the chairman of BCA's CFU and Shakti Group. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jacinda. And friends, just to give a kind of a highlights, like the observations and the purpose, what we're expecting from you when we participate in the BestWeb.LK and Top.LK. I always take an example like when you are entering into the house, the first appearance is very important. Anything when you enter, that is going to be the kind of a benchmark for that company going forward. So the first appearance, the look and feel has to be eye-catching. That is how then only you are going to welcoming the rest of the things. So it is the first impressions that you are going to make it are going to be the lasting, the relationship with your customers going forward. That is the basic of any success of any organizations. So these days, Sri Lanka is coming from the tough times, and not only the Sri Lankans, but even the overseas, they are looking a lot of opportunities, investment in Sri Lanka. Only thing is what they are do is they just go to any of the search website and search for the companies and see how I'm going to make it this company relationship, or what I can take it from Sri Lanka for this particular organizations. So therefore, it is important when you are developing a kind of a website, it should be aligned to your purpose of the organizations. That is very successful. If you don't align your purpose of your organizations and the website, it has to be have hand in hand approach. So when you all are doing a kind of a strategic approach, or it is really purposeful approach, please understand that both has to be reflected in your website going forward. And very important thing is the first, the screen has to be very, it has to be very simple and eye-catching. If I want to know about more, then you take them to the deep dive from that onwards. It's a kind of a journey. It's like you are going to open a new page. So there are a lot of methods are there these days. They are using a new technologies as they are, and everything is there. Please bring those the new look and feel, because most of the people, I'm sure, even when you are here, you all are busy with your mobile. When you have the time, that's a time I want to go and check something. I want to do something. When you're in Saturday, Sunday, when you have time. So this is the time the people will go and they wanted to do a more explore about somebody. Like for example, if I got my salary, I wanted to invest. So I look for who is the best bank to do the FT rate. So I go to DFCC Bank or Zeland Bank or what are the banks. So if what I am looking, they should know. So they should be kind of a, as Ruan indicated, has to be like what the customers wanted. Sometimes what we do is, the most of the time we make a mistake is even from the organization, everything. We think this is the product and we push it, but that won't fly on other side. So you have to understand what they want from your website. So always it is good when you are developing the website, even after you develop the website, continuous improvement is needed. So always is advisable to have a focus group, some external factors, external people, and get a feedback. Because if you want to improve, you should get a feedback all the time and from the external parties. And very important thing is, I always take these days is like the campaign, digital campaign, what you're doing. Some of the ad, what they do is psychologically impact your heart also. It's remain in your things, this particular advertisement. So most of the advertisement and the website developers, app developers, they are concentrating on UX, UI and UX. Substantially, they are investing in psychological impact. So please bring in your development team, your developers, not only the tech people or the business people, but who are non-professional like musicians and the psychological who has done the factors, how it is going to be impacted, what are my target audience, what is my customer segments. So based on that, you have to align your design and the facts according to that. Then only it will be a more attraction to your website, and there will be it should be indirection. There should be a call to action in your website, some kind of a chatbot is there, then some kind of a other social media interaction, and and most of the marks, as I think Ruan indicated, how the able people can be accessed. So there are a lot of opportunities are there, friends. So this is how you are going to have a very good website, and very important thing is the navigation, the look and feel navigations, and during the some of the things what we found is some of the links are not working also. And what you update in English is not updated in Sinhala and Tamil also. So it should be updated. So that's some of the people, they lose the marks on that. And some of the links are not working properly also. So please concentrate on those things. And these days, I'm sure because of the Copilot and ChatGPT and everything is, most of the companies, if they want to come, like if the boss is giving a job to compare about 3 companies, like, so for example, I'll tell you a good example is recently one of our the group chairman wanted to compare about 5 banks last 5 years annual report. 5 banks. We have the thanks to ChatGPT. Now you upload 5 years and everything will. So, but if we went to some of the bank's website, they have only 3 years. They don't have the last 2 years. So we had to go to the CSE website and we had to put one by one. We had to download everything and we had to publish it. So these are the things you have to be well aware what are things they are looking, and you have to be facilitate through that. Why you exist and how I am going to fulfill my expectation to the customers and how you are going to. So you have to understand what are the latest technologies these days available and how this comparison, they do a lot of comparison between the organization A, organization B, and I'm sure every organization there is a competitiveness is there. So how I can be an edge over that comparison. So these are the factors, please build in your website and always keep your website on top, the standard, everything. So that there's a lot of attraction, there's a purpose, and there's a meaningful. So if you can compare these 3 things, you will be the ideal organizations going forward. Even individuals are same, because we have individual website competition also. So both applicable. So please consider these things. So meaningful, purposeful, and the design. So that's why even here, the design factors is very important. So please consider these 3 factors all the time. Then you can be a great website going forward for your organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, the overall winners to share the strategies, the best practices they employ to achieve the success in BestWeb.LK competition. Our first speaker will be Mr. Iresh Piyathilekar, Enterprise Promotion Officer, IDB Industrial Development. Over to you, sir.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Like Mr. Rowan said, we should not create websites for the sake of creating websites. So back in 2022, we learned that lesson, and our website was just a pile of information. So we learned that lesson and we made it, we attend to it. And here I am standing before you with utmost humility, right? So first, I would like to show my gratitude to BestWeb fraternity, including LK Domain Registry and including the distinguished panel of judges for acknowledging our efforts and our dedication. Then I would like to make this an opportunity to congratulate you all who have gathered here physically and mostly you online. So, and also I would like to congratulate EFCC and 3CS for becoming the overall winners. I feel extremely privileged to stand before you to demonstrate this conversation because this is a totally new experience for us. I mean, winning the competition and delivering a speech, especially a competitive platform like BestWeb. So I would like to snatch 2-3 minutes from your valuable world of time to blow the trumpet a little bit. So I represent Industrial Development Board. I hope you have heard about it. So if not, it's my duty to explain some points regarding IDP. We are a government agency representing, comes under the purview of Ministry of Industries, empowered by the Industrial Development Act. So we have been here for nearly 6 decades, and our mandate is pretty much clear. It is to develop and promote industrialists all around the country. So we provide plethora of services like brainstorming ideas and inducing business startups, providing engineering, technology transfer, digital marketing programs island-wide, and designing engineering prototypes, components, including CNC fabrication and 3D printing, food and metal testing, providing certifications regarding that, and also organizing exhibitions and trade fairs. Just recently, we have concluded International Industry Expo 2024 edition with 1,300 stalls and with the involvement of both local and foreign exhibitors. And also, ironically, we organize awarding ceremonies as well. So for the irony is, for the last 6 decades, we haven't won any. We were not in the receiving end. So we used to give away awards, appreciating the industries. And in the coming months, we used to organize, we will organize National Industry Excellence Awards. We will select 500 best industries out of 10,000 applicants, right? So BestWeb actually created us an iconic moment. Last year, in 2023, we took part in the BestWeb competition for the first time and managed to secure a bronze award under the Best Government Website category. So suddenly our eyes lit up, and we have determined to do something new, to do something extravagant in the next edition, which is 2024. And this year, the awards kept showering upon us, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe the luck is the residue of action. So finally, our hard work has paid off. So the given time is 10 minutes. So now I'm going to share the winning secrets, the strategies you'll be waiting for. I recollect a quote from this book called The Alchemist. It was the bestseller in 1980s, I think, which was written by Paulo Coelho. Right? He said, and I quote, "When a person is set out to the society never expects him to build the biggest wall that has ever been built. What matters is to choose the smallest element of the wall, which means the brick, as perfectly as a brick could be laid. Once you do that more often, you will end up building the biggest wall that has ever been built." So our focus was this small element to keep things simple. We had numerous conversations with our web development team, Next Plus Private Limited. The Hiruna and his team is here to witness. So we just stick to fundamentals and wanted to keep things simple and understandable for our clients because our target audience was industries. So we are having a huge diversified set of web applications. One of them create web profiles for industrialists. And another one provides a self-evaluation matrix where industrialists could attend to their mistakes and apply amendments. We have a learning management system. We have aligned all our training programs there. We have a digitalized land bank, a B2B and B2C multi-vendor e-commerce platform called Ceylon Plaza. So all this diversification brought up to digitalize the IDB services and also to escort the entrepreneurs in the path of digitalization. We are into digitally transform businesses into a better state what they are right now. So, and also we wanted to enhance the digital literacy of industries. Because it is true that out of 23 million, 15 million people use the internet and nearly 7.5 million use social media. But our digital literacy lies somewhere around 35 to 40%. It differs from urban areas and estates, because estates is the worst, 11.5. So that is our intention. So going with the strategy, we made things simple and allow people to come in without any complexities, and within 2-3 clicks to access the information where they were looking for. And that is our effort. So I believe that this honor, this contentment, this feeling of jubilation, it all came because we kept things simple and consistent. Time and tide waits for no man. So last but not least, I would like to share the credit and mention a special person, the chairman of Industrial Development Board, actually. This was his concept of developing a digital one-stop shop. Lately, it was evolved to IDB Digital Suits. So we appreciate his contribution and for motivating us to travel in this winning journey. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you very much, sir, sharing your insights. And we'll move on to the other speaker, Mr. Dinesh Chebamani, Vice President, Head of Digital Marketing from DFCC.LK, overall silver winner of BestWeb.LK 2024. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Dias and Jacinta, for the opportunity. So our story goes a long way as well. So we relaunched this website in 2019 June and applied for the award in 2020. So in 2020, we won the most popular website award. I think that time there were awards for the single and time website. We got the silver and bronze for the best banking website. So that was the first step for us. And we firmly believe you need to keep improving the site, the content. And like the judges told us today, you can see here the design itself, the mobile is optimized with a different look and feel. The desktop is optimized with a different look and feel. 2021, again, we won 3 awards. I just can't remember, maybe bronze and silver again. 22 was disappointing. It was only a merit. We didn't bother about it even. And then, but we didn't get disappointed because we kept investing on the site. We knew we had different strategies. For example, as a banking website, you need to drive traffic to the site. You need to convert customers. You need to run campaigns, and you need to create engagement. So we firmly believe that. I'll share some insights there as well because yes, look and feel is important. The homepage is important, but remember, people don't come to your site first. I'll tell you why later. Thereafter, so we were motivated, we were driven, and we must thank again the BestWeb team for launching Top Web, right? Top Web.LK was because we always engaged with BestWeb and we always participated. And I think the report they shared, the technical report, I mean that should be your go-to document going forward. A benchmark that I'm sure you won't go wrong, right? So again, if you see here what we have, the designs, we have accessibility, we give a signage saying it's all in all 3 languages as well. And so you have bonus points here, right? If you are having the plugin for accessibility, you're getting bonus points. Next slide, please. So I'll quickly share 2 slides of best practices. Again, these are mainly supporting SEO on page and off page, but that's important because obviously you need to optimize for mobile. You need to look at the user experience. You need to optimize the images, caching, because if not, the loading speed, the experience will be very poor. Then utilize structured data and schema markup your landing pages. Remember, on a website, home page is important. No, I don't believe so. It's your landing page, right? Your landing page has to be optimized for conversions. That's the page your customers are going to, majority, right? Then creating high quality content, valuable and relevant content that needs to keep improving. That's very important. And prioritize user experience. So that is some insights. Next slide, please. No, previous slide, previous slide. Yeah, so again, optimizing meta tags. These tags, meta descriptions is read by the Google crawlers and bots, and that's important. So there are tools to do it. I'll tell you later. Performance monitoring and analyzing. You need to analyze your website through Google Analytics, Google Search Console, look at the data, look at which landing page has more visitors, what's the bounce rate. Those are critical, right? Leverage internal linking. So if you have multiple pages, have internal links to different pages. That will help you in your conversion and customers will spend more time on your site. Building high quality backlinks. Why is that? Again, nothing to do with the website, but for your domain authority and Google give you a ranking for SEO, you need to have high quality backlinks from third party websites. That's why we are happy to get our sites on BestWeb.LK or certain news sites, job sites, because that is giving us backlinks. And multilingual accessibility. So, I think in other markets, it's a violation if you don't comply to WSAG guidelines or ADA compliance. Now it's a mandatory for us. We are highly regulated. So central bank has given us a customer charter, and we have to comply to accessibility. So in our design itself, from day one, we have to look at how do you design for screen readers, for screencast, for the visually impaired, disabled users, how do you optimize? Right. Next slide. Okay, so here are free tools, right? These tools are available, right? Get all of your SEO partner, your digital marketing agency, your web developer. You all should be having access to Google Analytics, Google Search Console. That is a basic knowledge tool if you're into web development, website management. And if you don't have it, please learn it. There are free tutorials, guidelines to use Google and effectively. GA4, we are in GA4 now, not USC, and then Search Console. There are tremendous insights about your links, about your search, rankings, etc. Another free tool is Page Speed Insights. Okay, so some feedback for the BestWeb.LK website. This score is yours. Your performance score is low. You check it. Accessibility is at 72. Best practice 100%. SEO is 77. So if you all want to improve your sites, just go to that data and it has recommendations. Okay. SEO tools. There is enough and more free tools. Ahrefs, Moz, SEMrush, SimilarWeb, Ubersuggest, Keyword Tool. Now these tools have a free version. Also, they have a paid version. So I think if you are in a serious business, you should subscribe to one of these tools. Ideally, you should be having an SEO partner who should have access to these tools and work with them for technical SEO, for on-page optimization, off-page optimization. Next slide, please. Right. So here's important data. So you can see in Sri Lanka, 97% of search is on Google. People don't come to your website. They go to Google and they search. How are you optimizing for the search query? It can be a single keyword. It can be a long tail keyword, right? And that's why your meta descriptions, your landing page content comes into play, right? Because Google crawlers, bots will index your pages in their huge database and they will rank you accordingly. So if you are not optimized for Google and search, you're missing the bus. Your company is going to come and hit above. So you can run search-based ads and rank above. That's the option, but that's going to be costly. How do you grow your organic reach? That is important. So Personally, with my experience for the last 10 years, landing page is very important. Optimizing for Google is very important. If you are serious about your website business, right? Next slide, please. So I'll end with this slide. This is a very old analogy. So what it says here, you can hide a dead body in second page of Google, right? Nobody's going to go to the second page and search or click. You have to optimize for the first 15 or 10 search terms. That's number one. Number two, leverage Google's knowledge panel. How do you optimize to rank in Google snippets? People frequently ask for, and on the right side, they have a query as well. So when your content is well optimized, Google, and remember, Google is looking at helpful content, informational, value-adding content for the search customer. So you have to do that as well. If you do this right, you're not going to go wrong. On your industry, so your 22 different categories are there, different industries, different verticals. Your design, yes, your designs will change. You can play around with your content. You may not be monitored by regulatory authorities, so you have some leverage to play with. Yes, I don't say no, but you have to follow Google's core web vitals, right? That's critical. That's there in the report. Security, you should have SSL, you should have a WAF if needed. Your hosting service provider is important as well. And there has to be a continuous interaction with the data available at your fingertips to keep your website up over there on search and to be visibly relevant to the users. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. So now we'll call the next speaker, Mr. Sandaruwan Bandara, CEO of 3CS and Best Developer of BestWeb 2024, and also the bronze winner of BestWeb 2024. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for inviting me to speak today. So I think a lot of information was covered by the speakers who came before me, so I'll try not to go over the same ground. So I am speaking today as I'd say as a developer, right? So what we do is we design websites for many clients, and then we generally submit the best of our work to BestWeb every year. And I think Ruan asked an important question: why do we participate in BestWeb? And is it just to win awards? So I'll try to touch on that as well, because I think that's an important question. So similar to IDB and DFCC, we also kind of accidentally entered BestWeb in 2010. We had not even heard about BestWeb, and we had designed this website for Mount Lavinia Hotel. I think those of you who have been participating in BestWeb for a long time will remember. And the manager IT had submitted the site to BestWeb, and we didn't even know about it. So one day we got the message, you know, you have won an award at BestWeb, and why don't you guys also come for the award ceremony? So that was our introduction to BestWeb. And because we had won an award for the Mount Lavinia website, we also got an award as the best developer. I mean, at the time we got a silver award. So Buddhika was also there with me at that first ceremony we came to. And one of the things we decided, I think like IDB, is we thought, okay, next time we need to win gold, right? So we had a strong motivation to compete at BestWeb as a developer. And so then we studied the competition, and we looked at how they were evaluating the websites and how they were marking, and we came up with certain strategies, right? So I mean, we compete as a developer as well as on behalf of the clients. So each of the client websites also competes in their different categories. So the competition also evolves. Now we have been participating for 15 years, and every year the competition makes a few changes. And I think what Professor Gihandas and the team do is they look at the feedback and they try to improve the competition also. So we have also seen big change over the last 15 years. And even this year, there was a change even if you compare to last year. So one of the changes is that you had to go through Top Web this year. So even though Top Web was introduced last year, we were not submitting our sites to Top Web. So we went and submitted all the sites to BestWeb this year and discovered that we were in Top Web, right? And so that was an interesting, I mean, something we had to adapt to. And then also certain new categories were introduced. I think the small changes are made to categories every year. So we have to then look at, okay, what are the best categories to put our websites into? And that, as a participant, that's a big challenge for us because sometimes we can't figure out which category to put a particular site into. And I think if you get that wrong, that can also affect the performance quite a lot. So if you are in the wrong category, the judges will say, this is a nice website, but it's in the wrong category, right? So that's also something to think about. So I think as a couple of the other speakers mentioned, the criteria for competing are very clearly laid out on the Best website. There's a page and it gives a very detailed explanation of how a participating website would be judged. So, I mean, I won't go into all the details, but I'll touch on some of the more important aspects. So they have even given the point allocation, right? So there's a technical design, content, interaction. There are minus points, penalty points for certain things. And then also bonus points for things like multilingual websites and mobile optimization and certain other things. So, so it's not difficult to figure out, how to score better in the competition, being a complete outsider, right? Because the website explains to you exactly how it is done. So as a developer, there are certain areas that we really concentrate on. So speed and security, I think Sampath also spoke about. And I think some of these technical aspects are what get evaluated for Top Web. So if your website meets those minimum standards, you end up with a Top Web award. And this year, what happened is generally you have to pass through the Top Web criteria to get to Best Web. And there was no merit award given this year, I think, as Professor Gihanda has explained. Instead, I think a Top Web award is now given. So now you are only getting the 3 main awards plus a mobile optimized award and a popular award. So one other thing I think some of the other speakers didn't talk about is compatibility. Now, I have also been involved in web design for more than 25 years. And when we started doing this, 95% of the operating systems in the world were Windows. There were no mobile devices, and there were basically only 2 browsers. One dominated, which came free with Windows, which was Internet Explorer. So 25 years ago, when you designed a website, you built one website and it should work on Windows, Internet Explorer on a desktop computer. That's it. It was very simple. Now, of course, you have so many multiple operating systems. There are about 5 major browsers and many other minor browsers. And you also have to worry about mobile, right? So you have device compatibility, browser compatibility, and operating system compatibility. So now when you build the website, it's a much more complex process to make sure it works across everything. And so you now have to do a lot of testing to make sure that the website works well on all platforms and devices. And of course, now based on the Google Analytics data, when we studied, we realized that most users come from mobile devices. So now your website has to be to work really well on mobile devices. And as designers, quite often people tend to focus on the desktop because you have a bigger screen to play with, and you can really unleash your creativity on the desktop device. Whereas on the mobile device, it is much more challenging because one is the format is different. It's a vertical orientation, and you have so much less space to play with. And then, of course, when you combine all of this, it adds up to usability. So Ultimately, I think that is you can describe everything under usability. When your user comes to your website, it has to be very easy to use, very user friendly, and it has to serve the expectations and the needs of that user, whether it is a customer or a different stakeholder. And I think this got raised when Rohan was speaking. Doing all this costs money and time. So then no, I mean, none of us have an unlimited budget or a unlimited amount of time to do this. So you are working with the constraints in your industry and in your company and things like that. So within those constraints, the challenge is to achieve the best you can for each of the websites that you're designing. So I think as the speaker from DFCC also mentioned, there are many free tools, and he touched on some of them. In addition, of course, you now have a lot of AI tools. So particularly, I mean, something we noticed is that the standard of English on Sri Lankan websites is quite bad, or used to be quite bad. So prior to the last couple of years, you had to fix that with a human user. So you needed a good content writer who had a good standard of English, and they would have to write the content, and then you would have to check and recheck to make sure there were no mistakes. With the arrival of AI tools like ChatGPT, this has become so much easier. So now I don't think any website should have major English mistakes, because the tools are there to fix them, right? And then of course continuous upgrades. I think as a developer, that's a key part of your the role that you perform. So you have to constantly be updating the operating system, the language versions, the database versions. If you're using something like WordPress, you have to update the WordPress version, the plugin versions, and sometimes these upgrades will break the site. So sometimes it's very technically complex to do the upgrade, but that's something you have to do. So I think it's not just about thinking about winning the Best Web Award next year. What do we have to do to win? Just to make sure the site is secure and it is loading fast, and it meets certain minimum standards. The developer has a responsibility to constantly be upgrading it, like maintaining a car, I would say. You have to do all that, right? So so the website will give you a lot of detailed criteria. So I'll just touch on a few of them. For example, every website should have a search function at this point. And I remember there was a time when that was not part of the Best Web criteria, and then Best Web introduced it. And because Best Web introduced it, sometimes we would add it to our sites now, because we know we get some points for having a search function on the. So our sites became better because we were participating in Best Web. It was a kind of a process, right? And then of course privacy policy and cookie policy. This is something that came a couple of years ago, because suddenly the world became very conscious about privacy. And then many of you spoke about broken links, and then even HTTPS. I think in 2010, even HTTPS was not a criteria. And then a couple of years later, this became a big deal. And then we all had to go and get certificates for our websites and make them all HTTPS. Now, of course, if your site is not HTTPS by default, you have no business coming into Best Web or even really to be running a website, right? So I mean, I won't go into the details. There are lots of criteria. And then, I mean, multilingual also, I think you get special points for making a site multilingual. But as a developer, what we realized is a lot of our clients are not interested in making a multilingual website. So, for example, if it's a corporate website, quite often they say, look, all our stakeholders will use the website in English. So we don't have a need for a 3-language website. However, if you're developing a government website or a bank website or a finance company website, the regulations say you must serve this website in all 3 languages. So there are certain categories where it's a regulatory requirement. So multilingual, I think, is important in certain categories. So I think one other thing, of course, is accessibility. Now, this also became a important criteria over time, and I think even in the Google page speed evaluation that you showed, accessibility is one of the 4 criteria now. So that wasn't there some time ago. There was a time when the Google page speed score was, I think, SEO and speed or just 2 things, right? So it has evolved as well. Now I think because of the corporate focus on inclusivity and making sure that differently abled people are able to use the websites as well, accessibility is now a key factor. So, and I've noticed this year, most of the sites that competed had the accessibility feature was there in one form or the other. Um, so you have to think about all of this as a developer, right? So within, of course, those constraints that I mentioned. So, I mean, we've been doing this for 15 years, and so sometimes we come up with something innovative, and we try to bring in the new design innovations and technical innovations because that's what we like to do. And then we submit those sites to BestWeb. Sometimes we win an award for the site. And then, of course, the other developers then look at it and say, that's a nice idea, we'll copy that. So the following year, we realize everyone is doing the same thing now, right? So one of the things that has happened is because of BestWeb, the quality of the work in the industry has improved. So it's been a process. Our work has improved. So yes, we do build websites with the hope that we'll win an award. And I actually tell my team whenever we get a major project, I go and tell them, look, here's the project, here's your brief. I want to win gold for this website at BestWeb next year, right? And so we give them something to aspire to, and it excites them as well because it's beyond just let's build a nice website for the client. So we go well beyond the commercial requirement and the standard. And so I think my observation is, having participated in BestWeb over many years, the process that we go through means that the industry wins. So over time, we have become better developers. And I think all the other agencies who work in this industry have become better developers. And I think the clients are getting better websites now. They are so much more complex and advanced than they were 15 years ago. So I think let me close on that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Newman, for your insights. And now it's time for the Q&A. And we will invite Professor behind us to answer all your questions. So,
So I assume people who are on Zoom can also ask questions. And also, I will sort of lead the Q&A session, but I would like the judges, Mr. Pugan is in the corner there. Yes, go ahead.
We were talking about SEO and those techniques. This period of emerging of AI, ChatGPT, most people looking for Google, not for Google result, now moving to ChatGPT and Copilot. And do we do something on BestWeb in these years for AI searches and optimizing for AI, something like that?
That's a very good question. So the question was, do we need to optimize for AI? I think that era is coming. Right now, there is a bit of an issue that, especially if you look at ChatGPT, if somebody asks a question, it will give an answer. It will not refer to your website, although it might actually get the answer from your website. I think Microsoft Copilot is better because actually it gives references and then people can go and look into that. So I think what is, okay, forget about BestWeb. But if you want your customers to get the information, I think you have to make sure that that information is put in a form that these the AI engines can get at it and put it out. Now, does it have to be nice graphics and whatever? Probably not, because those guys will grab it from some kind of API or something, and your nice graphics will not be shown. So yeah, I don't know what the answer is going to be in a couple of years' time, but right now, what I would say is yes, but so BestWeb itself is right now not geared to say, okay, how well does your site get its information into say ChatGPT, because actually whatever SEO does might or might not work, and ChatGPT or OpenAI does not really tell you or give you any hint on how that information should really get into their system. And remember that whatever ChatGPT 4 or whatever is just the beginning. Very soon there will be much more powerful systems, and we don't know what they will be up to. Does anybody else want to? So basically, what you need to remember is things change, and we need to adapt things as it is suitable for whatever we do. Look at your purpose. Again, I'm coming to the basic. Look at your purpose. If you think your website or whatever you create, the product that you create, requires the attention of AI. So don't think about anything else. Look at the purpose. Select the most suited technologies, either latest or maybe older but not variable. But what you need to protect the relevant audience is the one that you need to remember. Anybody else wants to address that question? Okay, yeah, we'll go on to the next one then. Anybody from the Zoom call or whatever, Amal? No. You have a question? Okay. From this side, you all are very silent today. Of course, you were asking what other people. Any suggestions for us, for the judge panel or the organizers, on what maybe we have not done properly and how we can improve?
Just a suggestion, I think we have talked about this previously as well. Maybe you can consider having a SEO criteria also as part of the judging criteria. If you are using Google page speed as a technical criteria, it gets reflected to some extent because it is there. But I am not talking about how well it has been optimized across the internet. But on the what we call on-page optimization, maybe a couple of things can be considered because it is very important for the business success of a website to have SEO. So this is something I think up to now BestWeb has not included. So maybe you can consider because it's very easy to measure.
Right.
So we can see whether the basics have been done and then give it some minimum score because then also the developers will be motivated to meet that standard.
Right, that's very good. So I am a person who is a bit sometimes worried about what some developers do as SEO. So we didn't want to push that too much because some people do, I would say, complete and utter nonsense and call it SEO. But yes, I do understand what you're trying to say. But so our view has always been that if you follow proper guidelines and do what is recommended, not only by Google, but by Google, Alexa, whatever agencies which and W3C, all those places, you will automatically do well in your search engine rankings or whatever. So there is no funny thing you need to do. You need to follow the proper guidelines. But yes, so one of the things we could do is, we have not done it as far as I remember, is to use either Google or some other thing and run it in the first phase, so that and then we can tell people, okay, we ran this test and this is what you got and this is what you need to improve, so that they can improve on that. So that's a good idea. We'll most likely, so just write it down. We will probably include that.
I also endorse that because, like I said, the import of search, actually, you want to rank on Google, and Google has Gemini and the rest of with that AI. I need to see your content. So again, focusing on the landing page on a website also is critical, because we don't have structured content and for instance, schema albums. Your Google crawlers will not crawl in text. How well your page is indexed on Google is going to really benefit on search. So that's critical. That's like a part and parcel of any web design and technical aspect as well. So I think for the industry and for the business who have a website, if that is considered, they will have much more in terms of visibility online, maybe revenue generation.
Thank you. So we will look into that for next time. Certainly, I think one of the things we do want is for people to really look at not just, okay, I did these techniques for SEO, but actually my site is really doing well on Google, right? Because that's the test. I mean, not whether you did SEO or not, but when you search for whatever relevant keywords, your one comes first or second.
There are tools to measure.
Yes.
Even domain authority is one indicator.
Right.
Okay. No need.
No need. No, but anyway, we can. Actually, it's right.
Actually, this is because we need to get to know, in the competition, our side fail to some point. Maybe the first or second or third. There are any feedback. So this is the reason you got failed. So be able to fix it in the future. We need kind of feedback where we got failed.
Right. So we have, we have 2 or 3 stages. Right. The first stage is the top web stage, where we give you, in fact, right now we give 2 reports, initial report and advanced report, but we'll be combining that, I think, from next year, from this year. We give you a report, and if you pass, well, you have got something there. If you fail, it will say in that report what are the problems you had. Then if for whatever reason you don't get into the judging, that means either you miss some criteria, didn't put the logo, or there was a security violation, which we will then inform you and give you, I think, a week or so to fix. So both those stages, we do give you feedback, and we try as far as possible. I think Jacinta sometimes call people 3 or 4 times and say, please do this, otherwise you will not get into the competition. So we try hard to make sure that it's there. Now, once it goes to judges, there's nothing called a fail. What will happen is judges will, choose 1, 2, 3, and all the others will not be chosen. And that is why we have this meeting. So here the judges will explain what is not, why that a particular site. So I think Ruan and Kugan explain, may not actually get a gold or get a silver or a bronze, but it was good enough to get into BestWeb. So obviously it's not a bad site, but simply there were maybe 3 other better sites for whatever reason. So in that case, I wouldn't call it a fail or whatever. And of course, for the overall gold silver, where the entire judge panel decides, obviously, it's a sort of a long discussion, and various judges make their views known, and eventually a consensus is reached. So again, something gets it. So for the judges, we don't give a reason why it is failed. It's simply that we didn't get into that. But if any particular site, the judges have written down that okay, it was a good site, but here is a mistake they made. That's why it didn't quite get in. We have written it down, and I think Jacinta, you will be sending. So that's not for everybody. A small number of sites where specific shall I say, comments have been made, we will pass it on to the respective sites.
We don't have any proof. What we have to fix it.
You mean you got into BestWeb, but you didn't get a bronze, let's say. Okay, maybe one of the judges can try to. Okay. Yeah. So quickly. Like all these years, organizers and judges and individuals in that has been the policy, that has been the practice. No, we have where judge has written something down, but actually practically it's very difficult for every side to give a feedback. It becomes practically impossible. So, and it's a competition. When you are competing, you may be good, or you may be really, really better. But what happens is the best guy probably with the award. You may be just there, but may not be just there, but on the top. And specifically this year, the organizing committee requested the judges to indicate if there's any specific thing to be mentioned, very important thing to be mentioned about the site. So if that is there, yes, definitely it will be communicated to the relevant party. But giving it to everybody why they haven't done better is can understand it was possible. Yeah. But when we compare with the dinner and that, we are able to find the was the wrong. Okay. So three things. That is what you need to get. If you go through the cockpit, your the technical criteria would be evaluated and you will do that. That means you are technically through to the next level. Next thing is from the judges evaluation criteria. They do their best to evaluate and make sure that on their understanding and their experience, what is the best. That's why when I spoke there, put yourself in the shoes of your target audience. If that covers, then you're almost at the top. Since it's a competition, maybe there are little things that you have missed out. So it goes going there. No, it is not argued. When we look at you are not measuring in the how many visitors they are coming for the site. No, that's different. Because we are measuring the news site, how many visitors they are looking for a particular day. Yes, so maybe 20,000, 25,000 per day. So then from that point of view, our readers much satisfied with our stuff. So our side, we are doing good. So I have a similar experience on this. Now, I'll tell this person.
Asia Pacific ICT Alliance Awards competition has a people's choice award. For some of the categories, they have opened it up. Anybody can see on the website what the product presentations, and they can vote for that. Now, there are countries. There's China, Australia, Pakistan, all these countries, and Brunei, which has a population of about 340,000 people. Will they win that award? They never win that award. So sometimes the competition, when it is a competition, there are certain disadvantages, but sometimes Brunei products can be. It's there. So popularity is one thing. It's tested here when you get the most popular thing here. But when it comes to vertical transfer, yes, judges will look at it, and there will be certain subtle differences of size. How they feel through by going through the criteria, how they feel it makes the difference. So sometimes it may not be really possible for all the judges to do. Why you can, why it's better than you, or why you are better than it's kind of sad, but unfortunately,
it's a valid point.
Yes.
If we can have weighted for performance and
Correct.
now you're looking at different categories.
Exactly.
So if you are in news and media, obviously news media size have division.
Correct.
So like bounce,
yeah,
those indicators are good. So you can give some weight for maybe 4 or 5 core categories for on analysis.
Yes.
And a small weight.
So that is why judges are looking at the sites, the purpose of having sites, and they are like what they are doing. So it's actually indirectly looked at by the judges when they give the awards to the participants.
Is it based on data? Is there a database tool used like the page speeds or is it?
Certain things are based on data. Certain things we use tools. Certain things is the human judgment, because all things are taken into consideration when we give. Sometimes, okay, my opinion about, let's say, professor's side may be different to my opinion about or your opinion about his side. So judges deliberate. We argue, we discuss, argue, we look at what are better things, what are slightly below that, and whether the site fits the site's design and the content and all those criteria fit for the purpose that it is being fit. So based on that, only the judges make the decision. Sometimes we can actually argue. It's a never-ending argument, but even for judges, sometimes like, okay, this is better. This is. So one judge will think it's
sorry, so this is emotional, right? So if you add something based on data, give more value. Okay. So sometimes it depends on the judge's mindset on that particular level. It's maybe emotion, could be, but no, it's not data. So,
one thing is in this world is run on data. You need to, if we are going to have a competition purely on tools and data, then we don't need the judges. We can get rid of all the judges and we can just pass it to something. But this is a competition that is with a value that gives some value to the human aspect also. That is right. It's there. No, I'm 100% with you, but then I say also when actually it's a report. So yeah, I'm not sure if you received it. When you enter the topic, you get a report which covers many technical areas. So you get feedback, and that is an objective report. So it will tell you where. Yeah.
Top web is not entirely, but to a very large extent run by tools, because we can't we don't have judges for that. But so the idea we had is top web, you get the report, you get the tools, all this. So as you said, if you want to run Google page speed or whatever, we can, I can't remember right now whether that particular thing is there, but we can add that. But then at the end of the day, somebody must decide, okay, Google one is better and not the other guy or whatever. So you might say, but I was performing so well on that test. Why are you not using that test? Why are you using this test? What can you say about that?
Say we are benchmarking Google's page insight, and all developers also, it's a developer platform to support.
No, we don't actually want to do that. Also, I think I want to clearly say, we don't want to say we are the people who know, who have decided these are the tools, and all of you guys go according to that tools. So we, for the first stage, yes, we say we need this basic thing. After that, really, it is convince the judges that your site is better than the next guy's site, because finally, still, websites are viewed by human beings, and the human beings must like it. If the human being finds it is not to their liking, then what's the point of the website?
Sure. Okay. Put yourself in the okay. So
either UI UX principal guidelines is followed, or is it just
so if you go into the technical discussion, it will not sit there. That's why the judges are here informed to themselves in the shoes of the target audience of that specific website when they do the evaluation. So they will go there, go to that mindset of the user, expected user, and they will evaluate it. And similar sites will be evaluated in the similar manner. So if it is media news and media sites, they'll be evaluated in the mindset of the users who would be consuming that information or those websites. So that is what the judges will do. So technically, we are going to use the tool, then we can just do the tool evaluations. But then because it's meant for people, and judges are trying their best to make sure that they go into the expected or target audience. And so it's a subjective, but a lot of subjectiveness is removed from the perspective evaluations. Over the years now we have running it
Quite long, yeah.
It has evolved, and probably organizers will
No, I mean, all the comments which were made today, we are written down, and we will definitely consider them both for the top web and the best web. But at the same time, I feel, I mean, yes, if you have human beings, you have these 3 people in this panel and these 3 people in the other panel, they might be completely different the way they look at it, and that's only that's the way it works, right? What can we do here? So we are not saying that if a particular judge panel says this site is better and that site is not quite as good, that is a perfect decision. It's a decision of that particular panel. What can we do? Right. Okay. I think we are running late, so we'll finish there. But there are some more refreshments at the back, and we'll be hanging around for a while, so we can continue the discussion offline, so to speak.
Thank you very much to our distinguished speakers and to Professor Gihan Dias and to our team, especially to Mr. Nika and the tech support, and Mr. Suru and Mr. Patiran, and all the others. Thank you and good night. Hope everybody will participate Best Web 25. Thank you.